Now, the situation in Egypt does not seem to be getting any calmer. Thousands of Egyptians have again defied a curfew to protest against the regime of President Hosni Mubarak. He's now ordered his new Prime Minister, to begin political reforms. Meanwhile, the British government is advising against all but essential travel to Egypt's major cities. And I'm delighted to say we're joined now at 7:11 by Ali Oudjana from BBC Arabic, who's been monitoring events. Good morning, Ali.
Good morning to you.
What is the latest? We've seen reports on the news yesterday and in the papers today about fighter jets flying over protesters.
Exactly. Nobody actually understands what was the meaning of that. Some would say it was for frightening people to go home, because you've got actually tens of thousands of people staying there overnight and defying the curfew. Some would say that it's just showing of strength of the army for some reason. There's nothing understood about this, but on the political side, you've got signals that the Egyptian president has been sending, trying to appease the protesters. You mentioned the reforms and things like that, but the protesters, the tens of thousands of protesters, what they want is actually for the president himself to leave, and they want it to happen.
Now, I'm right in thinking the police have been ordered back on the streets. They seem to disappear, and there were vigilante groups protecting property, and a number of prisoners, I understand, have escaped from a major jail in Egypt.
That's right.
So are the police back on the streets, do we think?
We're hearing reports that some of the police forces are back in the streets. Not all of them. Definitely not in Tahrir Square, which is the main big square in center Cairo, where the sit-in is happening, where the tens of thousands of people are gathering there. But in some of the streets, some of the towns, Egyptian towns, the police are back here.
Now, of course, there's a sizable Egyptian community here in London. What have they been saying? What's their view on what's happening in Egypt?
Most of them, I would say, are supporting the protesters over there, hoping to see a change. You've got, in Egypt, you've got a regime and a president who've been clinging to power for 3 decades. So people want to see change.
How did this all start, Ali? Because was it a contagion from the Tunisian disturbances?
I would say so. I think everybody would say so. I think it's the beginning. It seems to be the beginning of the domino effect that was expected not only in Egypt but in the whole area. And there is some boiling already in other countries. You've got Algeria, Morocco, Yemen, Sudan, many other countries where there is some boiling, which might lead to something like that.
It's quite a frightening domino effect if all those places are going to go one by one.
It might be frightening. It might give hope for some people.
Thank you for joining us this morning from BBC Arabic, Ali Oudjana, who's been monitoring events in Egypt.